You've come to me for advice. You're standing at the edge of something new, something daunting, a challenge that feels insurmountable. I've been there, more times than I care to count. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. The night is always darkest before the dawn, but dawn doesn't come on its own. You have to fight for it. Let me tell you something about fear. It's not your enemy. Fear is a tool. It sharpens your senses, heightens your awareness, and forces you to confront the limits of what you think you're capable of. When I was a child, I fell into a cave. The bats swarmed around me, their wings beating against the stale air, their shrieks echoing in the darkness. I was terrified. But that fear taught me something. It taught me that the darkness isn't empty. It's full of possibilities. It's full of power. And if you can master your fear, you can master anything. You're facing a new challenge. It doesn't matter what it is. A job, a relationship, a personal goal, or something else entirely. What matters is how you approach it. You can let it consume you, or you can rise to meet it. But rising doesn't mean charging in blindly. It means preparation. It means strategy. It means understanding that every challenge is a puzzle, and every puzzle has a solution. When I first put on the cowl, I didn't know what I was doing. I had the drive, the anger, the need to make a difference. But anger alone isn't enough. It's a spark, not a flame. I had to learn. I had to train. I had to fail. And I failed more times than I can count. But each failure taught me something. Each failure made me stronger. You will fail too. That's not a prediction. It's a certainty. But failure isn't the end. It's the beginning. It's the first step towards success. Let me tell you about the first time I faced the Joker. He was chaos incarnate. Unpredictable, ruthless, and brilliant in the worst possible way. I didn't know how to beat him. I didn't even know if I could. But I knew I had to try. I studied him. I learned his patterns, his motivations, his weaknesses. And when the time came, I used that knowledge to outthink him. I didn't win because I was stronger. I won because I was smarter. Because I was prepared. Preparation is everything. You can't control the challenge in front of you, but you can control how you respond to it. Start by breaking it down. What are the obstacles? What are the risks? What are the opportunities? Analyze every angle. Anticipate every outcome. And then, when you've done all that, prepare for the unexpected. Because the unexpected will always happen. The world is unpredictable. People are unpredictable. But if you've done your homework, you'll be ready. And don't do it alone. No one succeeds in a vacuum. I have Alfred. I have Gordon. I have the people of Gotham. They're my strength as much as my training or my gadgets. Find your allies. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who support you, who believe in you. But remember, allies aren't crutches. They're partners. They're there to help you stand, not to carry you. There will be moments when you doubt yourself. Moments when the weight of what you're trying to achieve feels like too much. I've stood on the edge of rooftops, staring down at the city, and wondered if I was making a difference, if I was strong enough, if I was good enough. Those moments are inevitable, but they're also fleeting. What defines you isn't the doubt. It's what you do in spite of it. Let me tell you about the time I faced Bane. He broke me, literally. He shattered my spine and left me to rot in a pit halfway across the world. For months, I was trapped in that darkness, surrounded by the echoes of my own failure. But I didn't stay there. I rebuilt myself, piece by piece. I learned to walk again, to fight again, to hope again. And when I returned to Gotham, I was stronger than I had ever been. Not because of my body, but because of my mind. Because I had faced the abyss and refused to let it consume me. You will face your own abyss. It might not be as dramatic as a broken back or a pit of despair, but it will feel just as insurmountable. And when that moment comes, you will have a choice. You can let it break you, or you can let it forge you. The choice is yours. But remember, the fire that burns you is the same fire that tempers steel. It's the same fire that lights the way forward. And don't forget why you're doing this. Purpose is your anchor. It's what keeps you grounded when the storm hits. My purpose is Gotham. It's the people who call this city home. It's the belief that no one should have to live in fear. Your purpose might be different. It might be your family, your dreams, your legacy. Whatever it is, hold on to it. Let it guide you. Let it remind you why you started in the first place. There will be times when the path ahead seems unclear, when the challenges feel overwhelming, when the darkness feels like it's closing in. In those moments, remember this: the night is always darkest before the dawn, but dawn is coming. And when it does, you'll be ready, because you've prepared, because you fought, because you've refused to give up. Let me leave you with this. The world doesn't need another hero. It needs you. Not the version of you that's perfect or invincible or fearless. The version of you that's flawed and human and determined. The version of you that gets back up every time you're knocked down. The version of you that faces the darkness and says, "Not today." So go, face your challenge, prepare, fight, fail, learn. And when the dawn comes, and it will come, stand tall, because you've earned it, because you've fought for it, because you are stronger than you know. The rain is still falling, the city is still alive, and somewhere in the shadows, the fight continues. But up here above it all, there's a quiet strength, a quiet hope, and it's yours for the taking. Now go. The night is waiting.